This is the Oklahoma State Work Permits and Visa Task Force. Governor Stitt signed a bill that basically was supposed to stop illegal immigration in the state of Oklahoma. It was supposed to be able to tamp it down, is what the idea was. So here's the article that I wrote. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt signs illegal immigration bill only to open door to Visa Task Force. And that was May 6th of 2024. So he wrote the bill, HB 4156. And here's him saying on Twitter, okay, he signed it. And everybody was, having a cow about it. But he talks about Chinese nationals when he talks about this. And that's kind of an interesting thing. But then right after he signed the bill, he came back and created an executive order to create a task force. And here's what it says. Whereas I have been clear, the House Bill 4156 is not aimed at the honest, hardworking Hispanic or other international migrant populations here chasing the American dream, enhancing our communities, economies, and way of life, and otherwise significantly contributing to Oklahoma's tapestry. I've said this before on this program. If you're here illegally, you can't be honest. You just can't. You're either honest or you're not. There's not like I'm sort of honest. I'm maybe partly honest. How does that work? That doesn't work. So there was this task force that was going to come forth. And here's what he said about what the task force should do: allow for immigrants here to pursue the American dream and contribute to our workforce, to secure work permits, work visas, or similar documentation permitting them to remain for established timeframes without threat of separation from their families and livelihood. And I put that in there and nobody really paid any attention to that. And I'm like, he's trying to figure out a way to do what the exact opposite of the bill that he signed and made a big deal about. So what are we doing here? Here's this workforce that he put together. And I would just kind of like to go through some people who are on the workforce. So Tricia Everest, Secretary of Public Safety, is the chairman. And I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Edurne Pineda. I'm not sure. He's the consul of Mexico in Oklahoma City. And here's another problem. Why do we have a consulate for Mexicans in America, in Oklahoma? That's always been a problem of mine. Miguel Garcia, appointee of the government. We don't even know where he's from. Cynthia Jasso, appointee of the government. Don't know where. Xavier Niera, designee of the president pro tem of the Senate. Nima Zekavati, designee of the chancellor of the Oklahoma State System of Higher Education. Trey Rayhill, executive director of the Oklahoma Employment Security System. Our friend Brett Farley, designee of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Joe Williams, lieutenant colonel, designee of the Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety. Tommy Humphreys, DA, appointee of the District Attorney's Council. Amanda Stork, director of the Oklahoma Tax Commission. Anybody have comments? I like this one. Like that one.
Jenny, this isn't growing government in any way, is it? Is this an example of growing government right here?
Well, let's talk about what they did, and then maybe we can answer your question. Here was the original executive order. Okay, it's all in here. Now, here's what they want to do. This task force recommends creating an Office of New Oklahomans to promote interagency coordination and collaboration on issues impacting non-citizens in state and federal government. You want to talk about offended? I'm offended. And I'll explain to you why. So I adopted 2 daughters from Zambia, Africa. We don't have and still don't have, we didn't when I adopted them decades ago, did not have a consulate in Zambia that had an adoption agreement with Oklahoma. So I spent tens of thousands of dollars, mainly greasing palms in Zambia, to get those girls over here legally and spent tens of thousands more in bills that were stacked up from, immigration and, getting them an adoption attorney over here and all this kind of stuff. Isn't that weird? I actually spent a whole lot of my own money to make sure that the people that I brought over became actual citizens. Isn't that odd?
Yeah, it actually is.
I mean, I think that might be a little weird. So this offends me beyond the ability to be reasonable. I'm beside myself, but let's continue. This task force recommends empowering employers, internationally trained talent and migrant workers with the tools and information necessary to fill high-need sector jobs. Thanks, Chamber of Commerce. You're very patriotic. Let's go on. This task force recommends promoting policies which optimize efficiencies for international talent navigating credentialing processes. So here's another one. This task force recommends piloting innovative solutions to increase work permits and visas issued to non-citizens seeking to move and or living in Oklahoma. Here's my favorite one. Are you ready for this one? The task force recommends issuing driving privilege cards to qualifying non-citizens to address public safety concerns.
Well, Jenny, that all seems pretty reasonable to me, just because if we can't even produce kids that are proficient in reading and math above 50%, I mean, we've got to expand the talent pool to other countries and
with
bring
non-speaking English people. Yes.
Yeah, we can't produce proper citizens with our education system. I think they're just so fast forward looking. They realize, hey, we're having an issue with our own education. Instead of fixing our own people and empowering and giving resources to our own people here, let's just skip them and let's just start looking, because they're not really going to work out for us.
First of all, I was offended by the task force. Who are all these people?
Yeah.
And, you can accuse me of being a bigot. I'm not a bigot, but I just am an American. I'm an Oklahoman. And I want to know why it was that it seemed like that task force was way top heavy with people who had Hispanic names. And I think that needs to be addressed. And you can call me what you want, but I'm sorry. There's a problem with that. And the Mexican consul, that's a problem for me. We're not Mexico. We're Oklahoma. We do have ways to become Oklahomans and American citizens. I'm a person who went through that on behalf of my children. So you can say all you want that the Biden administration isn't doing enough to help illegals become legal. But here's the problem. When you let 400 million of them through in, every day, of course that system is not going to work. Am I against immigration? Absolutely not. I have 2 daughters to prove that that's a big falsity. And it's another one that to prove the falsity of the fact that I'm a bigot. What I want people to follow the dadgum law. And I don't want to say, well, just because the Biden administration is doing something, we're going to grow government, create something totally different and create our own laws outside of what there already is. And I'll make a point here too. I'm all for the 10th Amendment. Everybody who knows me knows that. I am completely for the 10th Amendment. But here's the problem. Immigration isn't an issue that Oklahoma should be able to do anything about in terms of just going around them and saying, oh, well, we're going to create our own system to make illegal aliens legal. I don't understand how that works.
Well, I'm right there with you. I mean, like I've told you, I'm literally first generation American myself from both sides of my family, my mom and my dad. My dad literally came over here from Italy, and his father, my grandfather, was, he's in the books at Ellis Island. He was literally quarantined, for a month or however long that deal was, just released out, go take care of yourself. There wasn't any line of, here's where you need to go. This is what you need to do. Here's a prepaid Visa card to help you on your way. None of that.